Hi everyone, welcome back to the Differently More podcast. Welcome back to this beautiful, beautiful little corner of the internet that I cherish and love so dearly. And I know for the people that listen to this often and regularly, I have not been very active for over a year now on this part of the internet. And that was because I was focusing on other things. But I need to let you know that I have not forgotten about this part of the internet. Every single time that I'm like, you know what, we're just going to close this chapter. I'm not going to do podcasting anymore. I'm not going to just take a camera and chit chat. That's not what I want to do anymore. Every single time, I just miss it. I've had so many times this year where I was like, let me just start again. Let me just do it. And then for some reason or another, I found an excuse. I was like, no, I want to focus on something else. I want to do this. I want to do that. And so this is not my priority at the moment, which was right in certain aspects. But in other aspects, like if you have something in your life, I guess that's the first lesson of this podcast today, is if you have something in your life that keeps on coming back and back and back again, and you keep on putting it to the side, but it just comes back, and there's something in your heart that's like, you need to do this, like you're missing, like you're missing the thing that you used to do, that's probably a very good sign that this is something that you're meant to be doing. Maybe not forever, but in this season of life, it is something that you're meant to be doing. So I'm taking my own advice and I'm starting, this podcast again, picking it up where I left off and just hoping to share, interesting life lessons, interesting things that I'm going through that can inspire you and help you and motivate you. And I also feel like having had this year break has allowed me to grow and evolve and develop myself and deepen my values and deepen my understanding about a lot of things in life, which means that I have so much more content to chat about and new things and refreshing hot takes and just things that I want to chat to you guys about. So if you want to go on this journey with me, I am so eager and so excited to start this again and, get chatting with you guys again. And it's just really exciting. And I'm very glad and I'm very happy and proud of myself that I'm giving myself this opportunity to start this again, and listening to that little voice inside. And so for a little bit of a background, if there's any guys listening to this and you may want to just fast forward, because I know that sometimes guys are a bit more like, get to the point, get to the problem, let's get this done. So right now I'm chit-chatting to the girlies that want the details, that want the story and like an ambiance, if that makes sense. So for the guys, or anybody that just wants to get to the point, just fast forward a little bit and you'll find when we're actually talking about the main topic of this video, which is first you need to start. But how did I get to wanting to talk about this? This morning, I went on a beautiful little run that I do every single Saturday, and I just felt so inspired by the people there, what they were talking about with me, and just other people. And I was just like, you know what, Helen, we need to get back to the level of excellence that we used to have. Like, we need to get back to really doing more in our life and providing more to others. And I think that a part of my life in the last year was going a bit more inwards, providing things for myself more, developing and pouring into my own cup. But I'm the type of gal, I love pouring outwards and helping and inspiring as many people as I can. And I think it's now time. My cup is full and I have things to say. So yeah. Before we actually start on this, let's get into some announcements, some interesting things that have changed and little things that I'm putting into place to hopefully make things make more sense for you guys. I'm obviously posting this on the Differently Moi YouTube channel and the Differently Moi podcast, but in the last year I have developed and grown other platforms, other social media pages that's called This Is Olen, which is where I posted a lot more of my singing and more of the artistic part of me. I want this page, This Is Olen, to be kind of the main page for me, like the singing, the music, the medicine, all of that. And then the Differently Moi to be more about just the podcast and those conversations that we're having so far. But for the people that love the singing, that want to know or hear my voice and see oh, she says she's a singer, can she actually sing? I can. But if you want to, just dive into that world with me a little bit more, because I'm always the type that I think that people will not know entirely who it is that I am until they've actually heard me sing and heard me sing live, probably on a stage, because that's where I just feel the most at home and the most comfortable. But if you want to hear my voice, basically, at the same time as this podcast is airing on the This Is Olen YouTube channel, there is a cover of I Have Nothing by Whitney Houston that is coming out. So It's very exciting. It's a very, very big song, and it was filmed over the summer in France. It was beautiful. It was sunny. I was wearing a beautiful dress, and the vibes are just there, and the vibes are just great. So if you want to go there after this podcast, please go head around there, and you'll get more of a holistic understanding of me as a person and other things that I do, which is always involving the voice, always involving some chit-chat in some capacity. But now, for all the people that have been really patient after all of this rambling, let's get into the topic of this video, which is first, you need to start. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I think that in my own life, I have a lot of examples, but in a lot of the life of people in my life, like friends, family, I think that a lot of the times the reasons why we don't do things is because we just don't start them. And we have this sort of like mental wall or this mental block, let's call it, where you just don't, because you're thinking about, right, I want to get to this thing, I want to, do this really cool business idea, for example, and you have everything set up, but then you start asking yourself, but how am I going to get the money? How am I going to get a team? How am I going to, figure out how any of this work? How am I going to be able to send all of the packages to the customers? Things like that. You start filling your head with all of these questions, and you're like, how am I ever going to do this? But then you don't start. But then we forget that all of these questions will not be answered and cannot be answered if we don't take the first step, which is to actually start and to commit to the process. Because for me in my own life, for example, I obviously took a long break from this podcast and I started this other YouTube channel for the music and the singing. And I kind of had a lot of moments where I was like, I want to find a way to integrate both. I want to find a way where I can simultaneously talk about deeper topics and help people and inspire people in one area, but also feel like me and be able to share and heal people through my voice and through my singing. And also, actually, I might want to start writing my own music, things like that. And I was like, how the hell am I supposed to combine all of these three things that are so different? Don't even start mentioning the fact that I'm a medical student and I'm going to be a doctor soon. And how am I going to fit all of that in my life and have relationships and all of this thing? And I was just, I think, paralyzed for a long, long time. And I was just asking myself too many questions. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? How will which page am I going to post this on? And what's going to be the system? And how am I going to prioritize? And which day am I going to be editing? And which day? And my head was just overflowing that. By the time I had thought about all of this, I was like, right, this looks and feels and sounds like a mountain of work. And it feels like I have no time to do all of this. And it feels like there's no way that little me, is going to be able to, achieve all of that. So hence, the simplest thing to do is to just not show up and to just not do it and to just keep doing the same old, go to med school, come home, do the studying, watch some Netflix, see friends, and just be like, you know what, I'm content. Things are good, things are okay. But contentment is not the same thing as having that fire in you. And I think that for you to be able to have that fire within you and to be able to go after what it is that you want to go to and to get to your dreams and to, try new things and put yourself out of your comfort zone and really follow that little voice that may sound completely crazy to you right now. But for you to be able to follow that, you have to just take the first step. You have to be like, right, I'm committing to starting this and I'm committing myself to this process. And I know that once I've started the process and I've entered, I'm committed to this thing, now the answers will be able to flood in. If you never take the first step of looking at something that seems completely jumbled up and committing to wanting to unjumble it, then you're never going to get there. And that's the thing that I'm trying to say, is that sometimes we want to do something, but then we look at how difficult it all looks and how difficult it all seems, and we just never take that step. But we forget that for us to be able to get there, we first have to commit to the process. We first have to commit to putting ourselves in a situation where we actually don't know the answers to these questions. If we knew the answers, then it wouldn't be exciting, it wouldn't be worth doing, and it wouldn't be something that you're proud of in the end, because there'll be no level of risk. There'll be no level of am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? You know what I mean? You have to start. That's the first step. The first step is committing to I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing right now, in the sense that like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to mend and blend the podcasting and the singing and the medicine. I have no clue. I hope that I'll get there someday. But for me to know if that's possible, I have to first start. I have to first try. I have to give it a fair shot. And for me to give it a fair shot, it starts by starting. It starts by taking that first initial step that sometimes is a muted, quiet whisper, promise in your bed with no light of like committing to like, I'm committed to myself. I'm committing to this thing. And then you start. And I'm sure you guys have examples in your life where you've been like, right, I'm going to do this now. And the energy is different. It's not the sort of like, oh, I'm going to do this one day. Someday I wish I could do that. Someday I wish I could have this money. No, when you've committed, like, no, I'm committed to this thing. I'm going to do this. Suddenly answers come into your life. Suddenly you meet a new friend that's 3 steps ahead of you and that shows you a part of the way. Suddenly you like somebody DMs you on Instagram and it's actually like, you know, something that's going to be really useful for you on your journey. But you won't get there if you haven't committed. The energy has to shift. You have to commit to starting. And that's really, really, really important. Anything that you do, if it's because you want to do, go to university. Like if I'm speaking right now to somebody that's 16, 14, 15, and that's like, am I going to go to uni? Am I not? You have to commit at some point to be like, right, I want to do this thing. And if you want to do this thing, you have to commit before you reach the end of school, because you're going to have to be like, right, my grades need to be good enough that I can get into a university. Right? So you have to take that first step. If you're somebody that's already in a career and you want to pivot, at some point you have to commit to the pivot. You have to be like, am I going to stay in this career that I hate and dislike? Or am I going to take a step and figure out how to get myself out of this career and into the one that really lights me up and makes me feel like I'm on top of the world every single morning that I wake up, or at least that I feel like I'm doing something that's worth doing to me. But you won't be able to get there, really, truly, you will not be able to get there if we don't first start. And again, as often with this podcast, I'm as much talking to you as I am talking to me. But I really had this epiphany this morning, which I was like, Olen, you're never going to be able to know if you can blend medicine, music, and this podcast, personal development, and inspiring people to like strive for better in their life. You're never going to be able to know if you can blend all of this if you don't first try. If you don't first show up and be like, guys, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to see if this is something that's possible, if it's something that I can carry on my shoulders at the same time as, you know, having a thriving relationship or relationship with friends or whatever. I need to figure that out. And for me to figure that out, I need to first start. I need to try it out. We can't just figure things out in our brain. We can't just spend all of the time in la la land and in the journal and thinking and writing things down and being like, right, okay, I'm going to do this first and I'm going to do that. Then actually this won't work that way. And it's not like that. That's not life. Life is meant to be experienced. You're meant to like go into the real world and actually try things on. The same way that when you go into a shop and you want to buy clothes, a lot of us will try the clothes on because it may look really, really beautiful on the hanger, right? It may look like the most beautiful dress you've ever seen, and you're like, wow, this is stunning. And you may have a picture in your head of what this is going to look like on you, and you'll be like, right, this is my gala dress. This is the dress I'm going to wear. I'm going to look beautiful. It's going to be great. And then you go into that dressing room or you go home and you try it on, and the vision is just not matching. Right? It's not hitting your curves the way it should. It's not like snatching you like you want it to, or it's too short, too long, too loose, not the right shade, not the right color. And you're like, that's actually not working, right? So it was initially you picked that up and you were like, this is perfect. This is the great, most perfect thing in the world. And then you tried it on and you're like, no, because you need experience. You need to try things to figure it out. And then once you've had that dress and you put it on, you might be like, actually, I really love the color, but the cut is not actually what I'm looking for. The slit is too high. So then next time that you go into the shop to continue this dress shopping situation, you're going to know, I want this color, but I want the slit to be slightly lower on my leg. And I want it to be a little tighter. I'm going to take a size smaller, whatever it is. right? But you had to have that experience first to then tailor and adjust to exactly what it is that you're looking for. It's the same way in dating. It's the same thing of like when you're trying to find your husband, your wife, whatever, or long-term partner. You can't just be like, okay, this guy is this age, this height, he's this level of attractiveness, he does this job, he wants a family, he thinks he's going to be a great dad, whatever it is that you have on your criteria. You can't just be like, right, this fits my criteria, this fits what I want, let's get to the altar and let's get married. No, you have to meet that person. You have to experience life with them. You have to see if you guys work together. And if you do, great. And if you don't, you would have learned something. And then the next time you try again to meet somebody else, you would have, sharpened your tool, sharpened your skill set. You would add new tools in your toolbox that can help you notice and discern exactly what it is that you need from your partner. And that's the exact same thing. If you don't start what you want to do, if you don't start making small steps and committing to the dream that you have, you're never going to have the experience that you need that are going to be the stepping stones that will help you and lead you to where it is that you're meant to be. Because right now, when you're at the beginning of the journey, or you're not even at the start line, you're like just a bit before the start line, and you haven't committed to actually starting this thing, you're kind of just looking at it as like, I'm pretty sure this will work out in this way, and I'm going to go this way, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. And you're just in your head, completely in your head in La La Land. And it's important to have like visions and know where you want to go. But you can't just stay there. Life is not in La La Land. Life is not up there in your dreams and in your journal. Life is in the physical. It's in what is experienced, what is tangible. And so you have to commit to actually putting your body in this. Actually putting, yourself on the line a little bit and being like, right, I'm going to get out of the journal and I'm going to commit to this thing and start the process and experience it. I have to see how this feels, right? Because sometimes you're going to think that this is going to be your dream is to do this thing. And then you start it and you're like, that actually doesn't feel too good. I actually don't really like this as much as I thought I would, right? For example, I always thought that I wanted to do plastic surgery. It's still not ruled out, but I was always like, this sounds like the life that I want. I want to be a surgeon. I want to do this. I'm going to be a plastic surgeon. It's great. And then I had more experiences in, spending time in theater, spending time with plastic surgeons, spending time in looking at what the life of a plastic surgeon actually looks like. And sorry guys, I don't know what happened. The recording just stopped, so we're back. But yeah, I was talking about the plastic surgery story, right? I had to go actually into the plastic surgery room, the theater, spend time with plastic surgeons, and not just spending time with them, as in like talking to them at conferences, because I had done that in year 1, year 2, year 3 of medical school. It actually took me to spend 2 weeks in a plastic surgery unit and, be with the actual team, go to the actual surgeries, see what they were doing day in, day out, and actually, experience it in that way for me to realize, maybe this is not what I thought it was. And maybe, just maybe, this may not be what I want to do. And it took 5 years of medical school to be like, maybe this is not aligning with actually the life that I want for myself. And I had watched so many YouTube videos about plastic surgery. I had spent so much time with plastic surgeons. I had done a master's on plastic surgery. I had done so many things about that. And then I realized, maybe this is not what I thought it was. Now that I've actually spent and experienced it for myself with my own body, maybe this is actually not aligning with the life that I want for myself. And I'm still figuring this out. We'll still figure out if that's what I end up doing. But what I'm saying, the point here is that you have to put your body in it. It can't just be your mind. You have to see how you feel, how it works, how it gels with you, right? Because we can imagine and project and, think about the potential of things as much as we want, but until we actually see and feel and experience the tangible of what it is in our own life, that's the only way that things can actually grow, that things can actually evolve, and that things can actually bloom, and that you can actually get to where you want to be. Your journey will not be, and it will never be, right, this is my dream, this is what I want to do, great, and now I'm going to take the first step and then I'll be at the destination. Most likely, more likely than not, you're going to start this journey thinking that you're going to end up on this mountain, at the top of that mountain on the right. And more likely than not, you're going to end up on the mountain on the left, or the mountain that was actually 55 villages behind the first mountain that you saw. But you would have never known that that mountain existed if you hadn't first, tried to climb the first one. And so that's why sometimes it helps, or at least it helps me, to not only look at the bigger picture and where I want to head to and what I want to do, but also zoom back in to my real life right now. What can I do on this day, in this current moment, to take just one step forward, 2 steps forwards, that will help me on this journey, that will help me untangle this piece of string that is just completely jumbled up, that will help me answer 1 or 2 questions that I have on my mind out of the hundreds, right? You can't expect from yourself, you cannot expect from yourself, guys, to have all the answers today or yesterday. Because I'm the type of person, I want all the answers yesterday. Not today, yesterday. But I can't expect that from myself. It's not fair. You have to commit to the process. You have to be patient. You have to stick things through. You have to trust that as long as you're moving towards in the general direction as to where you want to go, you will end up where you need to be, where you're meant to be, which may not be where you think you would have ended up when you were at the very beginning of the journey. But one thing is very sure, and one thing is extremely certain, is that you will never, my mother just called me. But one thing is sure, and one thing is extremely certain, is that you will never get to where you're meant to be if you don't move and if you don't start first. Every single successful person with a success story of any kind had to start. Probably confused, probably feeling small, probably feeling like they were an imposter. And it's only after years of work, after years of untangling this like jumbled piece of string, that they started to see a little bit, there's some clarity there. But for a while, there probably wasn't any clarity. But when people tell you about these stories, they tell you about the beginning. I was so confused and I was so lost. And then the end. Look at me now. Look at what I've achieved. But a lot of the times, they don't talk about the middle bit. They don't talk about the things in the middle because it's the ugly bit. It's the boring bit. It's the confused bit. It's the I still haven't made it. I don't know if I will bit. And that's not that inspiring. You want to have the very struggling, uninspired, not sure what they want to do with their life person that has a dream, and then the success story at the end. But to get to the success, you have to go through the middle. And to go through the middle, you have to start. And so I think that's my message with this video today and this podcast is hopefully if I can just inspire one person to just start, go on that first run your first 5 kilometers, start this YouTube channel, start your Instagram account, commit to, getting into nursing school, commit to becoming a lawyer, whatever it is. But whatever you have on your mind, whatever you have on your heart, if I can inspire just one person to take that first step and actually physically start something, then I think I would have won. I really, truly think that I would have won. And so, yeah, I hope that this time together has been inspiring, has helped you somewhat. I have my own insecurities, maybe the wrong word, but my own thoughts that sometimes I finish these videos. I feel really inspired when I'm talking, and then I'm like, oh, I rambled a bit. I didn't speak in the way that is the most eloquent, and maybe actually all of this is useless and nobody's going to listen to this, and I'm just wasting my time. But I think vocalizing sometimes what I'm feeling and the things that are going through in my head that are very normal and very human help me separate that and help me be like, no. Even if some part of me may be cringing at myself when I re-listen to this and edit this for you guys, I'm still going to post this because I really truly believe that there's at least one person out here that will need this and will need to hear this and will benefit from this somehow and in some way. And if I can be part of your journey, even in a small, small way, I'll feel very blessed. So yeah, the next steps for you guys, if you enjoyed this, please, please, please subscribe to my podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're listening on the Differently Ma YouTube channel. Go on my socials if you want to hear my voice and hear me sing, or connect with me that way. Please go onto the This Is Orlan YouTube channel. As I said, at this point in time, the cover of this I Have Nothing by Whitney Houston would have been out. It's a very, very vibey, beautiful cover that it's just great. So you actually just have to go see it. And I think you're going to have a great time. And then if you want to follow me on socials for more day-to-day life, a bit more of medicine stuff, it's all on the This Is Orlan Instagram account and TikTok account. So yeah, I love you guys so much. I hope that you guys have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your week. And as I always say, if you're not having a great time, life is sometimes difficult. And if you're not having a good time, just try as much as you can today to do something, just one thing that will make your day end in a slightly better way than it started. Have a good meal, go outside for a walk, have a bath, call your mum, read a book, whatever it is. But try to give yourself that gift because you most certainly deserve it. So yeah, I love you guys so much and I will see you guys very, very, very soon.